If you were an NBA GM, would you risk your career and your franchise by drafting a 19-year-old kid who needs to gain weight and prove his offensive game and is coming off a major knee injury? Here to discuss the pro potential of Nerlens Noel and other players, we bring in our draft detective, Dick Tracy, not the comic book character, but our insiders, Dick Gabriel from Kentucky and Tracy Murray from UCLA. Dick, we'll start with you. You saw Anthony Davis go #1 a year ago. Do you think Nerlens Noel should go #1 again this year?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's going to be a value pick. Obviously, coming off a knee injury, he's got a long way to go. But we knew when he got here, clearly he wasn't Anthony Davis. But when he got hurt, at that point, we were already favorably comparing him defensively to AD. That's how quickly he learned and came and how far he went. I think he's got great upside. I think he'll be a good value pick, even at #1.
Tracy, your thoughts about Nerlens Noel going #1? A risky move, or you like that pick?
No, I like that pick because he's a guy that's really rangy with his length, and he's 7 feet or close to 7 feet, has unbelievable timing on his shot blocking, and he's only going to get better because his offense has to catch up with his defense. He can control the defensive area, and he's the prototype center of what's going on right now, the long, lean, athletic shot blocking center. It's no longer to pound them down back to the basket guys. It's face up, shot blocking, and they're like thoroughbreds now. So he's the prototype center nowadays.
Tracy, another player you're familiar with is Shabazz Muhammad. At the Combine a couple of weeks ago, he shared who his game could be compared to at the pro level. Let's listen.
I mean, a lot of guys say, compare myself to James Harden, but he's so good off the dribble, and that's one thing I really want to work on. I've been watching a lot of his tapes, but in the league, the floor is so spaced out. If I learn how to create my own shot, with my body, I think I can do a lot of things.
Pretty lofty comparisons by the former Bruin. Tracy, what do you like about Muhammad at the next level, and do you agree that he compares to James Harden?
I think that's very lofty because James Harden is the type of guy that had the ball in his hands, even at Arizona State. He knew how to make plays for everybody and make his teammates better, to where Shabazz Muhammad is a scorer just for himself. He's the type of guy that scores, breaks offenses. He's a great offensive rebounder. He's very active. He has a high motor. So offensively, he does that type of things. He's not the 1-4 high or a high pick and roll guy that can come off and make the correct plays for everyone. So it's a very lofty comparison. I think he can be good if he plays within himself and continue to build his skill set. But right now, James Harden, I don't think so.
Dick, let's quickly have you weigh in on another Wildcat. Our Seth Davis says he thinks Archie Goodwin's stock is dropping. Goodwin's the youngest player in the draft. Will he be able to make an NBA roster?
Not for long. I think he's a guy who could be visiting the league but not staying there. He had a terrible combine when it came to shooting. He did not shoot the ball well this year at Kentucky and made bad decisions very often out in open court. But he's got a big motor. He can get to the rim, great athlete, and a good kid. He's got the work ethic, but he's got a lot of work to do over the next 3 years.
All right, guys, time for our Twitter round here. Here are the rules. All answers 140 characters or less. And Tracy, we'll begin with you. You call a few WCC games for us this year. How would you rate Kelly Olynyk's pro potential?
I think Kelly Olynyk has the skill set to be a 9-10-year pro veteran. I think he's a good player, and he'll help any team.
Dick, SEC Player of the Year, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Good or bad pro player?
Very good. Big body, NBA body, good shooter, rebounder, guards, great player on a bad team. Big upside.
All right, finally, last week our insiders picked Trey Burke and Nerlens Noel as their all-stars out of this year's class. Who are your all-stars, Dick?
I think Nerlens Noel has a great chance, especially if he goes to Cleveland and plays with a great point guard like Kyrie Irving. I like the opportunity that Caldwell-Pope might have, especially if he ends up with a team that really needs him on the perimeter.
Tracy?
I like Noel as well because, especially if he goes to Cleveland, I have to agree, playing with Kyrie Irving could help him tremendously. He'll be their defensive stopper. It's hard to say with anybody else because those, I would say Trey Burke, but it's hard to make it as a point guard.
All right, Tracy and Dick, or should we say Dick Tracy? Guys, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
You bet.
NC State head coach Mark Gottfried has some former players headed to the NBA, but how will he fare with new additions to the Wolfpack? Be sure to check out our Spring Spotlight, only on CampusInsiders.com.